Good evening. It is the 14th of March 2024. A warm welcome to our main news broadcast. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. OCIDA cracks as group DISOWNS activities of 2 senior members. Government reassures of food security amid a state of disaster and emergency. NAKACINDA committed to the High Court for trial over espionage charge. In international news, Liberians celebrate their dead 10 years after Ebola. And in sports news, Lionel Messi sustains leg injury as Inter Miami enter CONCACAF Cup quarters. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be back with the details after this.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Traders at Lusaka's Challenger Market have expressed concern over alleged attempts by suspected United Party for National Development UPND cadres to remove them from the market. In an interview with Camnet TV, one of the traders, Jen Kapenda, has criticized the actions of suspected cadres masquerading as Lusaka City Council workers and threatening traders with displacement without valid reasons. Another trader, Race Nawale, laments how she and others will cope with economic hardships if they are forced out of their means of livelihood. The traders have since appealed to the Ministry of Local Government to intervene in the situation, which has had a detrimental impact on their livelihoods.
Traders at Lusaka's Challenger Market have appealed to the government to intervene in a matter where suspected UPND cadres masquerading as Lusaka City Council workers have threatened to displace them without notice and for no apparent reason. In an interview with Camnet News, one of the traders, Jen Kapenda, says the development is uncalled for as it will negatively impact the traders.
Tapapata tigwada pansi pawo tikunkula pali bendrama zamene timapenza pano chifukwa bonse tuoda bonse vodula tifuna batimvelele chifundo ekonomi yakosa unga wakosa njala yangena ba president tuvele chifundo tili pambuyo pano ndife bana banu muzatipeleka kuti.
Another trader, Race Nawale, has expressed displeasure, stating that the current economic hardships will not favor the traders once displaced.
No manga tatuletola wanu amakoini kwa dopele shako na bena ba dopele shako ngomo baletumira kuchirachi ifo tufume pano tuingire mukati ero no kuchita tushafe chimono koda tode.
And another trader has questioned how the marketeers will survive as many of them are widows and have families to feed.
And then the women that have stands here, they are widows. Some they are widows and some they do keep the fatherless kids. So now if they chase them today, balance survival because now kwataba na kumaskuru now kwatama issues ya rentals then na economy tairi win then ngababa tamfyaba na bababa na cash bakula survival.
Meanwhile, efforts to get a comment from Lusaka City Council proved futile by broadcast time as their phones went unanswered. Chanda Mwango for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Kulima Tower bus drivers have called on the Lusaka City Council to start regulating wheelbarrow pushers in order to bring sanity in the business. In an interview with Camnet News, some drivers suggest that LCC introduce identification cards, uniforms or unique numbers for wheelbarrow pushers to help minimize theft. Meanwhile, a wheelbarrow pusher, Patrick Mwape, wants individuals who steal from customers to stop such actions as it harms the livelihood of many people in the business.
Wheelbarrow pushers, also known as zamcabs, help people ferry goods from one destination to the next, especially in the central business district. It has been noted with concern that a growing number of these pushers are fond of stealing clients' goods. It is for this reason Kulima Tower bus drivers are calling on the Lusaka City Council to start regulating the business. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Henry, a bus driver, says Lusaka City Council should advise wheelbarrow owners to have specific identification colors or numbers so that clients can easily track their goods once lost or stolen.
I think they should put numbers in those wheelbars and also come up with a uniform, sort of like an apron, maybe colors. If one person has got 500 wheelbars, everybody should come up with a color to my apron picture, maybe green, another one blue or red, and put numbers there. So that we should know, the people should know that the owner to this apron, maybe this wheelbar belong to one person in Shiboria there. What if things are lost, they should know where to start from. Because people are suffering, you know.
And Michael Musata, a driver, had this to say.
Monga kuliwa maulubaras, amewa nyamulira wantu. Wantu wa mabela maningi wantu vini. Ngata pati wa mbooking apena city market atinenda kulima tawa. Kutabu aja muntu akabwela pa station pa garden na tunaoneka wa uba. Kutabu ati katundu ya sowa. Katundu ama oda pela ngolo ya 1,000, 2,000, manje imagine mutalu zingandrama zonse chika chama uba. So chipempa, wa Lusaka City Council, security, wa police, abantu ama uba wa. Chipempa kutimbu wa chiteko educate, waziwe kusebenza na wanu.
Meanwhile, wheelbarrow driver Patrick Mwape has urged all fellow drivers to be honest in their work.
Ngabasenda kuri bala basena bala babele katwale apaso bena basende fipe ukwagula ukwebo omuno kucha TV fipe nde senda bayiba bayo mwina jala lelila nomba trade shanyo kutira mweba betesendera abantu babene fipe leke nukusendera bene fipe era ba council leke shenyipo nga kutipera ma reflector abatule tukwazana kuba myotoka na abambi no reflector gwe tama namba panu ukuchila tule ndavye apa wapitirati bamipangire misebo ko wapitirati bamipangire misebo.
And Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Nyambe Bulumba says the council is working around the clock to ensure that unregulated businesses are controlled. He has further called upon members of the public to be alert when they engage with people in this business.
The Lusaka City Council remains committed to regulating businesses across the city. As you may be aware that the council is mandated to regulate any illegal business that takes place within its jurisdictions, and for businesses that are not yet regulated by the council, we are moving within the pace to ensure that they are also regulated, and this will trigger a situation where they are selling quality goods to the customers. The issue of wheelbarrows is something that we are looking into.
Cherish Siwode for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Ministry of Local Government and Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol Council have launched a campaign against high consumption of the illicit beers. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony dubbed Junta Trapped Activation Launch, Local Government Minister Garin Kombo says the campaign is aimed at reducing the consumption of illicit alcoholic beverages. And Coalition's chairperson, Dr. Christopher Kalila, highlighted the health risk associated associated with illicit alcohol, including increased likelihood of non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and hypertension.
Zambia is ranked second among African countries with the highest volume of illicit alcohol, according to a report 2018 by Euromonitor International. However, the government, in collaboration with the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol Council, has launched a campaign to address this issue. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has introduced a statutory instrument aimed at curbing the illicit trade of alcohol in the country. Local Government Minister Garin Kombo, along with the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol Council, have launched a campaign called Junta Trapped Activation. The campaign focuses on the empowerment and friendship as a way to overcome the trap of illicit consumption.
Dr. Kalila, we will work with all well-meaning citizens on this path of bringing normalcy back to our nation. There is too much of this alcohol intake. And an example that you can have, even if you just walked around here within these premises, and the time now is 9 o'clock, you will find that there are children who are already inebriated, who are already drunk from alcohol. They live off the wall. They run away from home because some will argue that there is no love.
Dr. Christopher Kalila, chairman of the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol Council, warned of the dangers associated with illicit alcohol. He highlighted the deadly health implications such as hypertension and the risk of non-communicable diseases. We spoke to a trader at Lusaka City Market, Mwewangosa, who believes that some youths engage in illicit alcohol consumption because they have not yet found productive ways to occupy their time.
Illicit alcohol also, as you are all aware, contributes to delinquent behaviors that we see in our communities. It has created what we call junkies, which
Another trader, Daines Kalunga, also shared her thoughts on the issue.
Our business are what the time we are so they don't have anything to do. That's the reason why their junta is controlling.
Efforts are being made by the Zambian government and the Coalition Against Illicit Alcohol Council to combat the illicit trade in the country. Through campaigns and stickers regulations, they aim to reduce the harmful effect of illicit alcohol in individuals and communities. Prudence Chiwe for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Confusion has rocked a civil society organization, our Civic Duty Association, OCIDA, has distanced itself from the purported letter to the U.S. Embassy seeking financial sanctions for some top Zambian government officials. Addressing media Thursday, OCIDA Senior Trustee Ambassador Leslie Mbula has called for the resignation of former Archbishop of Lusaka, Emeritus Bishop Telesfo Mpundu, and governance activist Brebna Changala, citing lack of sanity and order to its operations. Meanwhile, OCIDA Executive Secretary Clara Zulu also disclosed that Emeritus Bishop Telesfo Mpundu and Mr. Changala are being used by an invisible hand and will investigate the matters, maintaining that the controversial statements are not agreed upon by the association.
Friday, 8th March 2024, a letter addressed to the U.S. Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez, and signed by our Civic Duties Association, OCIDA Chairperson, Archbishop Emeritus Telesfo Mpundu, calling for financial and travel sanctions on Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema and other top government officials for alleged violation of human rights that are eroding democracy in the southern African country, emerged. This saw various stakeholders ask questions about the move, but in the turn of event, some members of OCIDA have distanced themselves from the letter written to the U.S. Embassy in Zambia. Addressing the media Thursday, OCIDA founding trustee Leslie Mbula says most of the statements issued by the OCIDA chairperson have been done without consultation, and the case was the same on the purported letter to the U.S. ambassador. In the letter to the embassy, Emeritus Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu, said apart from President Hichilema, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, Chief Justice Mumba Malila, Inspector General of Police, Rafael Musamba, and Home Affairs Minister, Jack Mwembu, must be punished on alleged abuse of rights, but the senior trustee, while calling on the Catholic Church to protect Emeritus Archbishop Mpundu, advised him to resign and warned civil rights activist Brebna Changala from alleging that he is a member of OCIDA when in fact not.
We therefore wish to respectively request the Emeritus Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu to consider retiring from the leadership of OCIDA. He has played his part, which we appreciate very much. It's now time to pass on the mantle. We would like to take this opportunity to call upon the leadership of the Catholic Church in Zambia to protect the name and integrity of the Emeritus Archbishop Mpundu from abuse by some opportunistic individual.
Meanwhile, OCIDA Executive Secretary discloses that Emeritus Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu and Brebna Changala are being used by an invisible hand and will investigate the matter, maintaining that the controversial statements are not agreed upon by the association.
There's something that is happening which is not his alone. He must have some force behind him. We are yet to find, and it's good that you're asking us such questions, because now we'll speed up our investigations to find out exactly who he's working with.
Well, skeleton. So when we see those statements are coming, first of all, why go to statements in our house is not in order? We need to find the other trustees, because OCIDA is held in the trust. So we are saying those statements have no blessing, because at no point did you agree that any of us should issue statement. Yes, we can issue statement. We have been engaging government, we have been engaging other stakeholders. Even right now, that's why I've engaged you here. We are the bona fide members of OCIDA.
But when reached for a comment on the denouncement by the OCIDA members, Brebna Changala declined to comment, while Emeritus Archbishop Mpundu's phone was unreachable. Earlier, State House Chief Communications Specialist Clayson Hamasaka advised OCIDA not to drive the country into lawlessness by fostering division among citizens, and indicated that the latter is marred with falsehoods. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, has distanced its youth from allegedly perpetrating a clash with some opposition youth members in Chongwe district during Youth Day celebrations. Party Lusaka District Chairman Xavier Ndaba says the alleged clash among youths from different political parties was staged by the opposition to paint the UPND black. Mr. Ndaba, however, counteracts that opposition PF Function Secretary General Rafael NAKACINDA's remarks to term UPND youths is misplaced because the party is a champion of peace.
What happens in politics when everything is quiet, everything is going on well, and actually also taking into account the people that we are dealing with here, who are UCA and the Patriotic Front. We know the people that we are dealing with. When they see that something is, the situation is quiet, everything is going on well, they try and create a situation to send a negative perspective. So the incident that happened in Chongwe is an incident that is well known by them, because those youths were not actually in UPND regalia. And how do you classify them to be UPND? Their faces are well known. They were seen, someone was capturing. Please, I would urge you to go and report such kind of incidents to the police so that the police may take charge, other than just publicizing to say, no, the UPND, we need to tame our youths. Our youths have been tamed. You may appreciate that from the time that UPND assumed office, if our youths had not been tamed, they could have mayhem in this country. But immediately we assumed office, the president issued a directive to say that can we live in harmony with one another, and that we've practiced. Lusaka was actually the hub of a lot of violence. There was Women's Day on the other day. Everything happened so peacefully. There was Youth Day, where the Patriotic Front youths were there. All the youths from all the walks of life, different political parties were there, but there was no incident. Why in Chongwe? So that was a secluded incident which the opposition want to capitalize on. Because if they had done that in Lusaka, we were going to capture those boys and prove to them that these boys were not UPND. So those guys that tore the t-shirt for the gentleman in Chongwe, I want to categorically state here that they are not UPND, and that incident.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has committed Patriotic Front Faction Secretary General Rafael NAKACINDA to the High Court for trial proceedings. Magistrate Kawama Mwamfuli committed the accused following the issuance of the Certificate of Committal by the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP. This is in a matter in which Mr. NAKACINDA is facing 1 count of espionage, contrary to Section 3 of the State Securities Act, Chapter 111 of the laws of Zambia. Particulars of the offense are that the accused between August 26, 2023 and September 16, 2023, whilst acting together with others unknown for any purpose prejudicial to the safety or interest of the Republic, in a documentary which was published and communicated on different media platforms titled The Grand Regional Scheme, How Foreign Powers and Local Elites Are Destroying Africa, Part 1, did give information which might be or is intended to be directly or indirectly useful to a foreign power or disaffected person. Central Province Permanent Secretary Miuna Mwanakapwe says the reason why most farmers had a crop failure was because they lacked information regarding the rain pattern. Mr. Mwanakapwe was speaking when Central Province Agriculture and Commercial Show Society Board paid a courtesy call on him. He disclosed that there is need for farmers to embrace a paradigm shift in the way farming is being done. Mr. Mwanakapwe advised the Show Society to bring on board small-scale farmers as they are the wheels of the economy. Meanwhile, Tabonga Musukwa says Central Province will go ahead to hold a show amid the experienced drought.
Why farmers have failed to produce this year is because they were not adequately prepared. So if we are able to give them accurate information as regards the weather pattern in that particular season, they are able to plan around that. And then they'll decide which kind of seed to plant. And then that way we'll be able to have optimum management, optimum harvest.
The farming season has had some challenges this year, and I know for Central Province and for other provinces as well, the agricultural commercial show is affected because people are now asking the question to say, what's going on with the show given the droughts and things like that. But we understand also that there are a lot of aspects to agriculture, and there's a lot of that we can do, and also to motivate the farmers, subsistence and commercial, to ensure that we have some winter production even in the presence of this drought that we have.
Information and Media Minister and Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has expressed deep concern over the increasing efforts by opposition members and civil society groups to tarnish the current government's reputation. Speaking during a press briefing, Mr. Mwetwa says government is shocked at individuals' attempts to spread hatred despite Zambia's improving democracy. He says it is disturbing that Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu, typically seen as a symbol of love and unity, is now being portrayed as a promoter of political animosity in the country. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwetwa has reassured citizens that despite the declaration of a national disaster, Zambia remains food secure and urges the public not to panic.
2024, the Ministry of Information and Media Minister and Chief Government Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa, addressed the media on various issues of public interest. Speaking during the briefing, Mr. Mwetwa says the alleged letter written by Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu is disheartening, seeing that he is a man of God loved and listened to by the people. He says government respects his opinion, but it should not be used to mislead society.
We expect that he must exude as a man of God. Rather, he has positioned himself as one to be used as a catalyst and agent of division and misinformation in the country, which is very, very unfortunate. And we agree with the Secretary General of OCIDA when she questioned where Bishop Mpundu was in the last administration when all manner of violations of law, all manner of violations of human rights were being orchestrated, only to surface now and be at the center of championing information which cannot be substantiated.
The minister has urged citizens to support the UPND administration because Zambia today is better than it was 2 years ago in terms of democracy. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwetwa has also assured the public that the country is currently food secure even after the declaration of a national disaster was made.
We are food secure for now, and that the president has directed that FRA should rush into the marketing season to ensure that whatever maize has been locally produced, FRA should be on hand to mop up that maize, and therefrom those statistics should give us the window of maize, possible maize deficit in the country, which then would leave us with no option but to look into the import window from the neighboring countries, those that have already expressed willingness and readiness to export to Zambia. So there is no contradiction whatsoever.
Cherish Siwote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV with me, Sylvia Zulu. We now take our first set of commercials. I will be back with more news after the break.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870-588 or WhatsApp on 0972-049-213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. Opposition Patriotic Front Function Information and Publicity Chairperson Emmanuel Mwamba has pleaded not guilty to a charge of seditious practices. Mr. Mwamba denied the charge Thursday morning when he appeared before Magistrate Crispin Hapunga. Allegations before court are that the accused on the 4th of November 2023 posted on his Facebook page a post likely to bring into hatred or contempt or to excite disaffection against the administration of justice in Zambia and to incite violence or any offense prejudicial to public order or in disturbance of the public peace. He is alleged to have posted on his Facebook page seditious material entitled "A National-Wide Shutdown" in relation to the alleged amendment to the Patriotic Front office and alleged that changes at Parliament or anywhere else, the extraordinary general conference by PF Function President Mao Sampa was illegal and held outside the provisions of the Patriotic Front Constitution. The accused Mwamba is alleged to have said in the same post that the Patriotic Front shall not be stolen by a stodge installed by Zambia's President Hakainde and alleged that Parliament, courts and registrar of societies will not deliver justice, hence calling nationwide shutdown to reclaim democracy and constitutionalism. Some residents of Lusaka's Kanyama compound have appealed to government to establish additional access points for ZNS Milling. A check by Camnet News revealed long queues of individuals waiting to purchase ZNS Milling. Lydia Piri, a resident, disclosed that many of the people crowding at Tafika Mall for ZNS Milling come from distant areas like Mumbwa.
October 15th, 2023, government through the Zambia National Service embarked on an initiative to release affordable milling meal on the local market. The move is aimed at cushioning citizens from the ever-increasing price of milling meal. The ZNS milling meal available at a price of 230 for a 25 kg of breakfast and 190 for a 25 kg of roller milling meal, compared to other brands which remain unstable with prices ranging from 300 to 360. The slight reduction of Eagle's milling meal has continued to draw masses, but accessibility is a challenge. Some residents of Lusaka's Kanyama compound have been spending several hours on queues, waking up at 04 to get a chance to purchase the essential commodity.
Ubunga bureche bo barereta abantu barefula barekwariza bati 1000 abantu ubunga bareta fili trakimu so ubunga burekwaika sana ubunga barereta cyo kwingi amatraki nangu yataturangu 4 abantu nabafula kutira abantu barende kora mu mutende kula bwerera mu fili muri ati ubunga bwapo ubunga bwapo urajera 05 umuntu no stop ubunga iwano kula kamozi ucho ma the whole day parain ngwembeka zabeka unga kamozi Nise jote tiwa wamile woyu waku unukule unga waku wafamu jema bweda wakula wakula hundreds Maish zashita bwani na waku mafamu wasakile ni station yao ya utimizu wapelekera kwa unga Lantu wachoka kuchongu wabolo kula unga kuchopizi Wachoka kumungu wabolo kula unga kuna Naise wakuna Maish zizakwa ni sabwani Masakile zasa wabwani Masakile kwa station na wewe kuja Wakuti na wewe at least wafikila kwa paso
Other residents say the limited access point is making it difficult for people to access milling meal. The same can be said for Lusaka's Mtendere Munali constituency. One of the residents in the area, Paul Mwape, has advised government to distribute milling meal at least twice in a week to avoid scramble for the commodity being witnessed.
Ah, what's it been? 1 at least bed. Not 5 6 in Ishibena and Swagula. Better Wagulago Mozi. Then after, in a family, 7 Panyum, Tikula Ungawa, 3 bags per month. Is that one subwand? It's milling at least twice or thrice a week. Then people will be free there. Not whereby we start here on the queue doing this and that. That won't make.
Prudence Chibwe for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Consumer Association, ZACA, has called on the Public Health Department under the Lusaka City Council to take proactive measures rather than reactive ones regarding consumer-related issues, particularly concerning food items. In an interview, ZACA Executive Secretary Juba Sakala emphasized the unfortunate exposure of consumers to potentially harmful food items, stressing that there must be prompt action in removing such products from the market. He says leniency in promptly removing hazardous products will not be accepted in the future.
About the Woolworths ice cream, it has taken time to act. It's surprising because normally when that report comes, which means the South African authorities, they had done already the tests and they sent it here for the Zambian people to act. But if they took time to act as they did, then it's upon us, the Zambian people or authorities, especially the Public Health Department of the Lusaka City Council, to act swiftly, because the report has already been done by South Africans. So they were just sending it to let us know that that product that is in Woolworths, the ice cream, has a problem. So can we have it out? So if they took time to enforce the law, it's unfortunate. Normally, that's a bit of laxity, but normally when we get such report, we are supposed to act as quickly as possible. Then remove that product to avoid consumers getting it and later on have effect on their health. That's the way it should be. For them, as we talk every day, let's take responsibility of whatever we say. When we get to work, let's see what we can do first. It's unfortunate that we always have laxity in operation. I know there are the issues of capacity here and there, but there are times when we should act quickly rather than wait for some of the other things to happen, like until somebody gets sick or what. In fact, let's be proactive, not reactive as we've been.
The United Qua Alliance, UCA, has appointed former Minister of Development and National Planning, Lucky Mulusa, as its Secretary General. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka, interim chairperson Sakwiva Skota says the decision aims to ensure the alliance remains focused on achieving its objectives for the country. He reiterates that the alliance also intends to submit a petition to supplement the proposed sanctions by our Civic Duty Association, or OCIDA, of the purported shrinking of the democratic space in the country and the abuse of human rights by President Hakainde Hichilema and top government officials. Mr. Skota has urged President Hichilema to address Archbishop Telesfo Mpundu's letter during his parliamentary address on Friday, March 15, 2024, or resign if he fails to provide updates on the matter.
After a month of being in existence, the United Qua Alliance UCA has finally appointed former Minister of Development and National Planning, Lucky Mulusa, as its Secretary General, stating that it is one of the first major steps of the alliance taking course of its duties. At a media briefing in Lusaka, at New Heritage Party Secretariat, newly appointed Secretary General Lucky Mulusa says the formation of Kwacha as an alliance is to wrestle power to restore the people of Zambia, to align them to achieve the Vision 2030 objective.
Power from those that come in and give back the trust that Zambians give them with something else other than repayment, appreciation for the gift that they were given. And I want everybody here to go away knowing that the UPND never ever won the elections in 2021. It was simply the people that wanted to see something else. But what they got is something that they regret every single day.
Meanwhile, following a letter by our Civic Duty Association OCIDA chairperson, Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu, addressed to the American ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez of United States of America, to impose economic sanctions, travel bans and restrictions of President Hakainde Hichilema and top government officials owing to the alleged shrinking democratic space and abuse of human rights in the country. The United Qua Alliance UCA has called upon President Hakainde Hichilema to address this matter in Parliament on Friday as he addresses the nation. He adds that the letter should be treated as a matter of concern, as it is the first time such calls are being made in Zambia.
Include all the matters which are in the OCIDA letter. Those are the issues that are supposed to be addressed in the address to Parliament tomorrow. Everybody, therefore, is going to be waiting for that address. Zambians are keenly looking to see how President Hakainde will respond to the serious allegations in the OCIDA letter. The Americans are going to be wide awake to see if President Hakainde has credible and believable answers to the questions raised in the OCIDA letter. International and local investors will make decisions as to whether or not to invest in Zambia, depending on how President Hakainde will be able to provide proof that there should be no worries concerning continued abuse of state institutions like the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Independent Broadcasting Authority, the Zambia Police Service, the National Assembly of Zambia, and the judiciary.
Governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda has, however, condemned the letter, describing it as saddening.
That we have actually our own citizens who have gone that far to try and tarnish the name of the government. No, we need to maybe take advantage of the open door policy that has been provided by this government to see how we can interact with the people that are in the corridors of power and bring all our issues before them so that we see how they can be resolved without necessarily going to that level. So,
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
When I take our last break, I will be back with some international stories as well as sports news. Stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now, in international news, Liberian citizens on Wednesday observed the 10th anniversary of the Ebola epidemic that ravaged the country. On the second Wednesday of March each year, the country observes National Decoration Day, a time where Liberians gather at various cemeteries to commemorate their departed relatives. This year's observance brought relatives to Disco Hell Safe Burial Site in Magibu County to mourn the victims of Ebola. Here's a roundup of international news.
A pair of lions have been released into their home in South Africa after being rescued from a zoo in Ukraine. The 3-year-old lions, Ta and Jamil, were rescued shortly after war began in 2022. These lions were born into captivity in Ukraine. They now await their new home.
The lions are doing well. I've just checked on them. They're resting in the crates. In a few minutes' time, we'll be heading to Born Free. That is the southern boundary, and we'll be releasing them into the new enclosure.
They will be released into Bond-free Big Cat Sanctuary at Shamwari Private Game Reserve in South Africa. The lions were handed over to a wildlife rescue center in Kiev before plans were set into motion for the brothers to be rehomed in South Africa.
So Tara and Jamil have had the most tragic start to life. They are only 3 years old. They recently turned 3 in January, and they have been through the mill. They have had broken bones, been fed on a diet that is completely inappropriate for lions. We're going to have to build up their immune systems. We're going to have to build up their muscle mass so that they become strong, healthy lions here to be able to live out their life in the African bush as they should have from the start.
Both lions were raring to go upon release. Both dashed straight out of their travel crates to explore their new enclosure.
First thing now is we want them to drink water, and then a little bit later they'll be fed. But once they drink water, we know everything is fine. But we'll watch them quite closely and make sure they're fine.
Both lions had small bruises, which was expected after a long journey, but they're expected to heal quickly. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently commented on the strained relations between Russia and France, particularly regarding Russian influence in Africa, which has elicited what he described as an emotional reaction from the French President Emmanuel Macron. I think there is a kind of resentment, but we maintained direct contact with him. We spoke quite openly on the topic. We did not go into France and force France out of there. The problem is different. The well-known Wagner Group first carried out a number of economic projects in Syria, then moved to other African countries. The Ministry of Defense provided support, but only because it's a Russian group, nothing more. Regarding Macron's reaction, Putin suggested that it might stem from broader issues within some African states, implying that Macron's response could be influenced by internal challenges faced by France in the region. It's probably more convenient to be offended by anyone without seeing your own problems. Perhaps such an acute, rather emotional reaction on the part of the French president is also connected with what is happening in some African states. Although I know other African countries where they threaten the French president calmly and say, yes, everything suits us, we're ready to work with them. But in some countries, they don't want to. We have nothing to do with it. We're not inciting anyone there. We're not setting anyone up against France. Putin emphasized that despite any perceived resentment, he and Macron had maintained direct and open communication on the matter.
Bien. Il faut davantage investir, y compris en ayant recours à des solutions innovantes, comme les emprunts pour la...
Liberian citizens on Wednesday observed the 10th anniversary of Ebola epidemic that ravaged the country. On the second Wednesday of March each year, the country observes National Decoration Day, a time where Liberians gather at various cemeteries to commemorate their departed relatives.
Today is a peaceful and sorrowful day today. Because right now, as I'm sitting at Philippine or two, I never saw him when he was sick. But today, come decorating his grave today, paying respect to his grave today, it looks sorrow and painful to me.
She was my everything. She read me, she sent me to school. But then when I reached senior high level, she passed off, and I know how it takes. So my advice to those who lost their loved one during the Ebola crisis, they should take heart, because know everything. He gave life and he have a solution for everybody on earth.
This year's observance brought relatives to Disco Hill Safe Burial Site in Magibi County to mourn the victims of Ebola.
Orphanage kids come and the kids from the neighborhood come. But the kids who were in the orphanage, quite a few of them, at least the last time we came, had lost parents who were buried here.
A total of 4,810 persons died in Liberia when the virus hit, according to the Center for Disease Control.
in sports news, Lionel Messi scored a goal and made an assist before leaving the field due to a leg injury as Inter Miami bet Nashville 3-1 in the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup round of 16 match. Messi found his former Barcelona teammate Luis Suarez in stride for a goal that opened scoring in the 8th minute. The 8th-time Ballon d'Or winner then added a first-half goal to give Inter Miami an early 2-0 lead on Wednesday night. The Argentinian great was substituted in the 50th minute, and coach Gerardo Tata Martino later revealed that Messi was dealing with a mild leg injury that started bothering him during the game, so he was taken off as a precaution. Martino said Messi will likely miss the team's Major League Soccer MLS match on Saturday against DC United. That's it for our main news tonight. Before I go, here's a recap of the stories making headlines. OCIDA cracks as group DISOWNS activities of 2 senior members. Government reassures of food security amid state of disaster and emergency. NAKACINDA committed to the High Court for trial over espionage charge. In international news, Liberians celebrate their dates 10 years after Ebola. And in sports news, Lionel Messi sustains leg injury as Inter Miami enter CONCACAF Cup quarters. Our verse of the day is coming from the book of 1 John 4, verse 19. We love him because he first loved us. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night.